Hey guys, Buildzoid here, and after watching the most recent WAN show and thinking about it for a while, I've come to the conclusion that I owe Linus and his team an apology. There was no reason for me to be as much of an ass about the mistake in their video as I was in my video. Um, yeah, they're like my comments and just general behavior in my video was totally unnecessary. Um, and so for that, I'm sorry. I'm also sorry about the original title of the video. Because the original of the title of this video was, I think it was like Linus is spreading misinformation about the 12-volt high power connector. Though my reason for why that title was the title it ended, like why that was the title, is that my original idea for a title did not fit into the YouTube video title character limit. And I'm not much of a writer. So when I was faced with that obstacle, I just started chopping words out until it did fit, which is how I ended up with Linus is spreading misinformation about the 12-volt high power connector. Um, I'm sorry about that too. I did eventually update the title to, like include the fact that it was MSI's misinformation. But yeah. And then eventually, once they fixed, or like once they cut out the offending email from their video, I edited the title to this. And I've left it that way since. So, yeah. So I'm very sorry about the my comments and just general behavior. That it was just totally uncalled for, and I'm also sorry about the original title. I'm not really like I don't personally see anything wrong with the second title the video had, but yeah. Um, Now I do want to add some context. This isn't supposed to be an excuse. I just want to add some context. So, for those of you who don't know, I am actually subscribed to Linus Tech Tips. Now, you can't see that because I'm not on my YouTube account right now, right? Like, I have a subscribe button to myself. But I am actually subscribed to Linus Tech Tips. So, what happened with this video was that I was checking my subscriptions. This LTT video came up, and I don't watch every LTT video, but I do kind of like the janky DIY solution videos they make, mostly because it's like watching a car crash, but that's fine. And I play BeamNG and Burnout Paradise. Um, and um, I mean, they also have some videos that are just interesting in and of themselves. Like recently, they had a video about like super low end laptops. Like I didn't even know that you could buy a laptop that's $200 and barely functions, but apparently you can. Um, so so I do watch LTT somewhat regularly, and I've watched LTT since high school. Okay, so yeah. Unlike a lot of the people in my community, um, I can't find a good example of it right now. But there's a lot of comments, especially on Reddit, where people just hate Linus Tech Tips a lot. Um, I want to make it very clear I'm not one of them, even though this video does make it seem like I am because, yeah, this video is just unhinged. So I'm sorry about that. Um, but yeah. So I watch LTT, and this video showed up in my subscription feed, and I watched through it, and I'm not a big fan of how they decided to break apart the 12-volt high power connector with pliers instead of just like desoldering it or something. But that's not that bad. And then the email from MSI shows up, and I just lost it. And I don't really have a good reason for why I just lost it at that point, but I did. And that's what led to this video. Because within, I think, 30 minutes of seeing that MSI email, I made this video and posted it. So, yeah. Um, that's how that went down. Now, I guess maybe one of the reasons why I had such a drastic reaction to seeing that email from MSI might be the fact that like I have made this video And this video goes over the power, like how the 12, like what went, like this goes over the wiring of the 12 volt high power connector on a whole bunch of different 5090s. So, and I'm pretty sure this video actually got featured in a recent-ish WAN show. So, like, if somebody at LTT had just watched the video that they featured in the WAN show, they wouldn't have needed to send an email to MSI. But yeah, either way, like, my reaction was not appropriate, like, at all. But that was just my reaction, and it's kind of too late to undo that. So here we are. But anyway, so yeah, I saw the email, lost my shit, and made this video, and that's kind of that. And yeah, I'm sorry about that. And the thing is like, while I did just point out, like, hey, technically I already pointed out how, oh, also, one of the comments I make in my video is like how LTT could just buy 5090s, even from scalpers. The thing, I was not aware, or I forgot, that LTT actually had a poll with the community about whether or not they should buy 5090s at scalped prices for like testing purposes, and the community voted no. So yeah, LTT literally cannot buy 5090s. If I had known about that, I would have hopefully not like made that comment. So yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of that. Though the thing is, like, I'm kind of trying to think about like how LTT could have like avoided this mistake. And because personally, my experience with emailing manufacturers for implementation details is that a lot of the time they'll just send me incorrect, like they won't tell me what I want to know, or they'll tell me something that's incorrect. And so a lot of the time I end up just measuring, like I'll send an email, I'll get an answer, and then I'll be like suspicious that the answer I got is wrong. And so then I'll go and measure it, and then I find out that the answer I got was wrong. So it's like, you know, and so, you know, like, yeah, but I guess like the thing is like, if you don't know enough about like PCB design, I guess. And the thing is, I'm not an engineer, okay? I've just looked at like an awful lot of PCBs. I've measured quite a few of them, and I read a lot of documentation. That doesn't necessarily mean I understand all of the documentation I read, because again, the reason I'm not an engineer is because I never had the math grades to get an engineering degree. So sometimes when the documentation gets a little bit math heavy, yeah, I just don't understand what they're talking about. So, yeah, but yeah, so like I have a kind of like unnatural knowledge of the, you know, like power delivery circuitry on GPUs and motherboards, to like a concerning degree. Like for example, and well, there is actually a 6900 XT, if I remember correctly, that doesn't have power balancing. That's not 6900 XT. Oh yeah, actually no, this is not the one. 68. I mean, technically this one does do that, I think, but the PCB I wanted was this one. Yeah. This is not balanced at all. I mean, I don't know, like to me it's pretty obvious that this isn't like load balanced, but yeah, I don't like, that's not normal. Right? Like that's just not normal. Like, and the weird thing is I remember that this exists. And if I remember correctly, this does the same thing, because it's like a thing that like ASRock decided that like load balancing is lame or whatever. And here it almost looks like it's load balanced, but you look at the back, one polygon, which again, well, this like it could maybe be ground, but I'm like 99% certain that this is all one big 12 volt blob over here. Because like ASRock also did the same thing on the Tai Chi, right? Like on the Tai Chi, it's super obvious, and then on here, it's like, yeah, they're probably doing the exact same thing again. We're not going to get into the details of why, but like, so to me, that email from MSI was just like immediately like, oh, they're lying. Like they're just lying. And then, and then also like the fact that this video exists and that just set me off. But then like thinking about this practically, like how would you catch this? Right? Like you'd basically have to have somebody on the team that's like paid to just look at PCBs all day or something. I don't know. Like that doesn't seem practical. Yeah. And also, I do want to say, I guess also some of the commentary I make in my video is just like envy on my part of the like equipment that LTT Labs has. Cause yeah, I wish my oscilloscope had 8 channels and like 2 gigahertz of bandwidth. I mean, actually, I don't need 2 gigahertz bandwidth because it's not fast enough to measure DDR just yet, but having 8 channels would be pretty cool, especially for modern GPUs that have like, a bajillion rails on them. Um, so, but yeah, so some of the commentary on my part is definitely just like, you know, my feelings of envy, I guess. And again, it's totally uncalled for. Like my reaction to the mistake in that video is it's not okay. And yeah, I'm sorry. Um, And I also want to say, like, I do appreciate that LTT Labs is a thing. Okay, like I don't want them to go out of business. I just wish they didn't make so many like, and it's not even so many mistakes. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything particularly egregious in several months, and like I said, I watch kind of a lot of LTT. So, um, yeah, but I don't know. Like, so where was I going with this? The thing is, I wanted to say that I really appreciate the fact that like LTT Labs is testing garbage tier power supplies, right? Because those are power supplies that would otherwise never get tested. And that is like a good thing that there is somebody out there who will just buy the garbage power supplies and test them. Because yeah, nobody else does that as far as I'm aware. And nobody has ever done that in the past either. I mean, there was a couple of like Death of a Gutless Wonder PSU reviews on johnnyguru.com, I think was the website, where they'd take like some complete dumpster fire PSUs and test them. But LTT's actually doing it, at least as far as I can tell, they seem to be doing it as like a large scale operation of we just test every PSU possible. And I think that's really cool. And they're not just testing the ones that they get sent review samples of. Actually, I don't even know if they get sent review samples of PSUs. But either way, yeah. So I want to make it very clear: I don't hate LTT. Um, my video is unhinged, so I'm very much sorry about that. Uh, like I've considered deleting the video. But I think at this point, like it's not gonna get more views. I mean, I don't. I hope it doesn't get more views. But yeah, like to me, like deleting it at this point seems like a fake moral high ground thing, or maybe I should just make it unlisted so that like if people want to reference the fact that like I'm an ass, this is available. It's like, look, Buildzoid is an ass. Also, LTT once made a mistake. I mean, not once, but like also LTT made a mistake about like power connectors or something. So, yeah, that's it. I'm sorry. I don't really. Well, I'm hoping for forgiveness. But yeah, like like this 14-minute rant was like the behavior in it is not acceptable. And yeah. So anyway, at this point I'm just going in circles, aren't I? So I'll just stop this. Sorry for wasting your time, I guess.